I'm kind of following this checklist, but as we go along, I'm going to go with a flow like everything else. And usually my flow starts clear, start. Okay, so now we're using this thing a little bit. The throttle is this thing, fully open, fully closed. The governor switch is that little device. Sorry.
Okay, it's not here.
It's actually here. Sorry, that's the governor switch. We don't know if it's on or off right now. Usually, when it's off, it's away from you, and when it's on, it's towards you. But those little things, when they get maintained on, I mean, they can be rotating. So, simple way to do that is
when it will start, actually, this one will kick in. You should be taking over, right?
So it won't kick anything until 80%.
Yeah.
So once you start pacing 80%, yes, the governor will take the load first. So now it's like
that's how you know it's off. If it doesn't, right?
Well, or you can flick it, and you'll see. There we go. Or you have that light.
Oh, okay.
See, so that tells you now
so
it's
now
on,
it's off.
and now with the light on, it would be off.
Off. Okay. So if it's off, it's on actually. The governor
Correct.
is on,
the way it looks, yeah, the way it looks. Now it's, for example, on. Okay. Finally, we have the mixture control, which is down. We just talked all the way in with the little rubber mount. This we can leave open, I don't mind. The switches and avionics, everything is in the off. Radio here, transponder down here, working my way up. This is another cone we'll talk about, but there's no on-off setting or anything. Everything here is off except for the strobe. Now, as I'm following this thing, I'm just making sure that my altimeter is set to the field elevation, which is 14 feet. This is not going to work in flight because it's flagged, and we don't need that gyro, so I'm going to save its life, and I'm going to pull the breaker on it. Same thing for the turn coordinator, it's flagged. But this off thing is going to come off when we're going to start the engine. Again, for you to have that relationship with your rotor disc. Everything else looks normal. Okay, strings are there, compass is there. And now, basically, we have this, of course, has to be disengaged. The oscillator temperature gauge in Celsius, we saw it was 32. And the hydraulic switch is that little device that you have here. So now we're ready for this startup process. Okay, so we checked everything, basically. The startup, I mean, there's a whole segment here that you need to kind of somewhat learn to be able to perform quicker and actually look at the right thing at the right time. So here it's simple. We roll the throttle once, and I think it's already announced, but we roll it once to introduce a little bit of fuel in the carburetor bowl. Then we look for everything around us, make sure it's all clear. Same thing for his kids. Some operation, not so much us, but they like to tie down their equipment, so make sure
you don't want that.
Yeah, that could be a problem. The ignition switch, this I'm going to leave here for now. And I'm going to let you handle this thing. The best way to hold on to the cyclic initially, it's kind of a bit weird. You put 1 foot in between the two pedals so they're level, and with the handle here, you kind of hook it. Even though it's not going to move, you're going to protect it anyways by hooking it between your knees. That hand, the left one, is always on your power. Because if something in the startup, the engine starts to go crazy, you can roll it down, you can whatever. The right hand, therefore, is the one that you're going to use to do everything else. Okay? And that's what you're going to actually do. So right now, you're going to engage the master switch on with your right hand.
Just all right.
Correct. We have carbon monoxide light, alternator, or light. These are the normal lights that should start. I mean, activate when we do that. We look one more time around.
Clear, right?
And now, it's good. The way you see, this would be fully open. You don't want that. Make sure that you bring the throttle to where you're in the spring detent. This is the idle. This is into the detent. Okay, so we leave it here. And with your right hand, you can turn the key to the start position, so clockwise, and hold it there for a little bit. Make sure the engine good? Started. A little bit too much fuel, that's fine. Now with your throttle, well actually for now, yeah, you can raise it up a little bit. Roll the RPM up. See how sensitive it is? The engine is happy. Engage the clutch. Engage the alternator. Now do it. If you want, you can put your headset on.
Hear me good?
Yeah.
Now you see that light? The clutch light takes approximately 1 minute and 5 to 6 seconds to come off. When that is done, you can roll the throttle again, but now to 70%. And that's going to be the warm-up phase. There we go. Now you can gently roll that throttle to 70%. There we go. I'm going to help assist a little bit. There we go. And then we're waiting for everything to warm up. So now, okay, gauges, of course, we looked at all that at the startup. They're working properly. The oil didn't stay hung, so that's good. If it did, we have to shut everything down. If that light shines during your startup and doesn't come off, you got to shut everything down. Now what we're looking at is the cylinder head temperature gauge. From your perspective, when you can see a little bit of green, the left side of that needle, the engine is warm enough for a magneto check. You have off, right, left, both, start. On the magneto check with your right hand, you're going to go counterclockwise to the L. You're going to hold it there for about 2 seconds and watch the engine tachometer and rotor tachometer drop. We don't want it to drop by more than 7%. After 2 seconds, you turn the key clockwise again to the same position here, both. And then you repeat the exercise to the right one. Now be careful with the right, because it's very close to the off switch.
Yep.
Okay. Beautiful, we got the temperature that we want. Flick the radio on, the transponder. With your right hand now, you can turn that key to the left mag. 1001, 1002, clockwise back to both. Perfect, we have a 5% drop, more than adequate. The same thing, but now for the right mag. So click, click, counterclockwise twice. 1001, 1002, and now the key can go back into the both position. No, to both again. Both. There we go. The next thing is to check the carburetor heat over here. So it's already raised a little bit. I'm going to keep on raising it up. And we have a needle here, carburetor air temperature gauge, that's going to rise. So now yes, it's confirming that hot air is accessing that carburetor freely. I'll push it back down. The next thing is to make sure that we have a means to, if we need to auto-rotate this aircraft. So we need to see that the engine is independent from the rotor. Or to do that, with your throttle hand, you're going to roll it towards you in a snappy fashion. And you see that drop. You leave it down here. I'm going to take the friction for you off the cyclic. Okay. Friction off the collective. There's 2 checks left on this checklist, and therefore me on my end, I'm going to put this under the seat, or in the little pocket here. And you can roll the RPM past 80%. The governor will kick in for you.
302.15, altimeter 29903. ILS or localizer, runway 8 approaching use. All landing and departing aircraft expect runway 8 or runway 13. All fixed wing aircraft contact clearance delivery 127.95 prior to taxi. All aircraft read back runway hold short instructions and runway.
Right there, she's going to kick in. You'll feel, there, you feel that throttle?
Taxiway Quebec, yep. Easement payment at taxiways Alpha.
And it's going to go up, set
activity
itself.
In the vicinity. Advise on initial contact. You have needed information Delta. Lauderdale Executive Airport, ATIS information Delta 1.
One check also is that if the rotor RPM goes a bit on the low side, we want to be advised early. So to simulate that, I'm going to roll the throttle down a little bit to about 97 or 98%. And I'm going to raise my collective. And the light and the horn should come up. Okay? Finally, on your end, the hydraulic switch, want to make sure the circuitry is is
Off now?
yeah, and you're just going to push a little bit on.
Yeah, it's very hard to move it
No,
now.
it's hard. So basically what you're doing here is you're checking the circuit and you just switch to the fuse. Beautiful.
Okay, now it's on.
No warning lights, everything is in the green, fuel is good. Frequencies are set. I'm going to put the one that we're going to go to. Boom, point of reference for that airport, why not? And transponder is set, restrictions are all off, landing lights are on, car beat of course is down. Doors, latches, everything is set, good to go?
Yep.
Look far in front of you, look actually at that number 29 on the hangar. I'm going to assist you in the pickup. And we're going to do a little bit of a cheat. We're going to put a little bit of that left pedal, but just enough, about this much, if that. A little bit of cyclic to the left. And when we get into the aerodynamics, you'll understand why. Partly is physical, the other one is aerodynamic in nature. Now we gently raise that collective up. Maybe a little bit too much left pedal already, I can feel it. And off she goes. Try to hold her steady, very good. Look far outside. Look at the number 29. And now we're going forward gently. Beautiful. Look to your right real quick because we're going to swing that tail, make sure we're not going to hit anything.
It's clear right.
Clear right.
Object 255.
And now we're basically following that yellow line for our departure. Beautiful. Look at the hangar at the end of that taxiway with that Learjet back there. Don't look too close to the ground. Okay. We'll let her do her thing a little bit. I got the volume high now. Executive Tower, helicopter 3112 Tango at Shelter West for a Sierra departure westbound with information.
November 3112 Tango, Executive Tower, Sierra departure crew departing the ramp HL on risk altimeter 29903, Scotchburg.
12 Tango on the go, thank you.
Executive Tower, Twin Cessna 1279 Golf, number 1, hold short 8.
I'm going to swing the tail, I look to my left.
Air 1279 Golf,
Yes, sir.
Executive Tower,
Yeah.
turn left.
That's our ground round.
8.
The target is that water tower. That's all you're putting your attention on right now. All your energy, all your thought process, all your focusing is going on that white water tower at the horizon. Inside, I'm making sure everything still works, and it does. Ready?
Ready.
We're going to basically go from a hover, slight acceleration with forward cyclic, a little bit of a raise in power, push forward. And the goal here is to try to keep that water tower in a steady place in our windscreen. So whatever we need to do with your cyclic to hold that position steady. Look to your right, all clear.
Clear.
Turn to the right. You see that road down there? We're going to go in smack 12 o'clock position. It's Northwest 21st Avenue, that road that stretches to the south. Just one there. Just follow it. Here we go. Very good. Put that thumb over here. That's good. Yeah. Don't want to put it. That's a powerful plier, that thumb. So if you have that, whatever control in your fist, you're not going to get to feel the aircraft too much. Raise the nose a little bit with your cyclic, a little bit up, and wait. So we're going to climb 200 more feet. A little bit more up on the nose. Beautiful, and wait like that. Yeah, it's the attitude. Hold the horizon the way you see it. A little bit up. Don't level it too soon. I'm going to help out just a bit.
Tower Delta Lima, India, be ready, runway 18.
Changing my attitude. Holding the horizon on my windscreen. Just like that.
Executive Tower, verify information, Delta.
Okay, we'll get Delta Lima, India.
You see the road coming to your right hand side there? That's Oakland Boulevard. Look to your right, all clear.
Okay, Delta Lima,
90
India,
degree turn.
Delta Lima, India, flighting 090, runway 8, clear for takeoff.
Heading 090, clear for takeoff, runway 8, Delta Lima, India.
November 7 Lima Golf, contact my departure.
Look at your horizon, look at your horizon. Start pushing the nose a little bit over, follow the road. And now what you're trying to do is to lock that horizon in your windscreen. Make a picture.
Yep.
And hold it there. Use references, of course, on board the aircraft. I mean, I know, if the compass helps, the position of the screws, even that thing I can't take off, whatever helps in order to gauge the position of the horizon.
A bit windy today.
Well, we have about 10 knots, if that.
I remember last time was a bit smoother than today.
Was it?
Yeah.
Position with your all, you know what, look at your position a little bit too, it's important. The feet are good, I like to have them nicely squared and tip of my toes, that's cool.
Yeah.
The cyclic hand, right, I'm going to assist. Yeah. Find an anchor point, something, a leg or whatever, that's going to
because I guess like that is not going to move a lot.
There we go, because this is a high point, so now we have a tendency to over control. If you anchor it, you're not moving that hand that much. There we go, see? So position is a big thing, huh? Very good. So now, for the power that we have, but regardless, the attitude that we have, looking at our airspeed is 80 knots, so that's an 80 knot attitude. Okay.
Yep.
There's a little descent taking place. You can kind of see it. There you go. So you have two ways to deal with that. If you want to maintain the speed, you would raise your collective. That will, regardless, raise the nose up a little bit, so allow the nose to be raised.
Good afternoon, November 304 Romeo, next to holding point 08, and we're ready for departure.
Two birds with one stone, because you're getting some altitude and yet you're keeping the airspeed alive.
Executive November 304 Julie Romeo.
Number 304 Julie Romeo, executive tower, flighting 090, runway 8, clear for takeoff.
Fly heading 090, clear for takeoff 08, November 304 Julie Romeo.
Executive tower, Cherokee.
We're following this road right now.
Yeah, you can, yeah.
Line, inbound for landing.
Over the shore, say your call sign, please.
Cherokee 1786 Tango.
Okay, so kind of visually,
1786 Tango, executive
officially,
tower, right downwind for
we're outside the airspace now.
Downwind, runway 8, Cherokee 1786 Tango.
We're going to remember also this, or where the canal actually changed direction, or that football field. And tower helicopter 12 Tango, clear to your west.
2 Tango, proof, stage proof, good day, sir.
Good day.
Executive tower, BSO9.
I'm changing a couple of frequency down there so that you know. One is for traffic at or under 500 feet, the one we're listening to now, capable to interact with. And the other one is if we decide to climb, and or we're going to Coral Springs practice area, that's more like airplane frequency. Beautiful.
Like there is no traffic around, so
It's amazing. Those last 2 days, with days like that, nobody flies. I don't get it, but the way it
it's
is.
really nice today. I don't know why.
Wow, I know. Good. See, now you're maintaining that attitude, nice little movement, but that's part of the game. Eventually that will disappear.
Street Causeway Bridge, ICW, heading southbound 500.
Raise your eyes a little bit and look at that disc. You see it turn on top of us. It leaves a shadow.
Okay.
You see it's perfectly parallel now with your horizon, right?
Yep.
Okay, so keep your eyes up there on that disc. Look only at that. Now just raise your collective, but do nothing with your cyclic. Now look. Well, we feel the climb, but also we can see there's a gap now that starts to increase with the horizon, right?
Yeah.
Lower your collective, and you'll see that the opposite will take place. The nose will slowly gap down, and that distance with the horizon is going to start getting thinner. Or do I really like to use it is when I make a turn. So keep on looking upside. All clear to your right. And you see that canal visually landmark-wise, that's what you're going to eventually follow. But start making a turn to your right. And look at that disc with your horizon now.
Over the canal right here?
Yep, yep. So if it goes down, means the cyclic needs to be raised a little bit to keep that gap consistent. And now as you're making your turn, you're starting to see an angle take place also over your horizon.
Yep.
It's a big huge gyroscope when you think about it, huh? And 1, 2, 3, 90-degree turn to your right. Go for it. And now look at the angle that you're creating for yourself on that horizon. Beautiful. That's about 30 degrees. Oh, that doesn't work. Anyway. Oh, I pushed it wrong.
That should be 90 right here, right?
Yep.
No?
No, it's good.
Good, yeah.
I mean, regardless of the speeds that you have, pay attention. A little bit of integration of the cockpit is a good idea. Today, the idea is outside, outside, outside. But yes, we need to monitor the health of our system, check its performance. We need some kind of a power value in order to be able to determine that. The rest of it is attitude, which is outside, in this case scenario. So now you have again that 80 knot attitude based on your airspeed indication. Very good. Now you see there's a big building, Circuit City, over to your right, on a quad low.
What is that?
The big building right there.
Okay, this one?
Yep. You're going to pick a point. You can take the whole building on that. No, you don't have to be specific to a point. And you're going to circle that thing.
Okay.
So now the exercise is again eyes outside, look at your disc, your horizon, all those good things. But you're going to slowly also start integrating your cockpit to see that you're maintaining the airspeed, that you're not climbing or not descending, etc., etc. And you're going to practice that now. Full 360-degree turn to your right.
Watching on traffic, 1 County. Bravo is over, W cut, turning northbound outdoor, 500 feet, watch.
Alright. And now you'll see it's a quick trick to figure out also where the wind is coming from. And now you're experimenting a little bit. You're seeing what it takes, how much of that cyclic, if I put too much of that cyclic, or not even that so much too much, but if I accentuate my turn, I'm going to start losing altitude.
Yeah.
Well, we're losing the component of vertical lift to horizontal lift. So in order to...
We are at 80.
Yeah.
80 miles again.
Very nice. So in order to deal with that, we'll have to add some power. So the steeper that turn, more power will have to be added. Not to forget also the centrifugal force involved in it. So now you're increasing the load of the aircraft on the rotor disc. If you're making a 60-degree turn, you're multiplying the work that those disc or that rotor has to do by 2 times the weight of the aircraft. With my collective, I'm going to control the angle on which I'm going down, and with my cyclic, the rate of closure, how fast I'm going to it. So I'm going to turn it around.
Sec 92 Bravo Charlie, ready for Alpha intercept.
We're going to go a little bit on the slower side.
92 Bravo Charlie, Executive Tower, turn left eastbound, runway 13 Alpha, clear for takeoff.
I'm blocking that box. Okay, it's going to stay there. Of course, we're not going to land on it, but I'm going to keep it. On purpose, I'm going super slow on that for you to see. I'm going to keep it in the same place on my windscreen. If it goes high, I go up with my collective. If it goes low.
So this is what you call like a steep approach, right?
That was a steeper approach, correct. So now with my collective, you see I can control the angle of the descent. With my cyclic, I'm controlling the rate of the closure. Now we got a little wind.
Contact by departure. Go to departure, good day.
But yes, that's the steep approach profile. Right here we're going to have ground effect.
Albany 3 Alpha Sierra, traffic 12 o'clock.
And the wind is playing with us a touch on the bottom, but not much. Now we have an altitude above the ground, I don't know, about maybe 3 or 4 feet. Keep the aircraft up by raising the collective lower, beautiful. We're going to work a little bit of hover stuff.
Runway 13 clear touching.
So all you're going to do now is actually going to go, instead of, not bad, but it's easier if we move with it versus trying to hold it still too soon, right? So look, you're just going to go forward, over the grass back there, not too far, but you're going to just do this, there we go, and you're going to hold that and go forward.
Try resetting, altimeter 29901.
And the goal at one point is that we're going to slow this down until we hover.
Transport an altitude indicates 1,000.
But right now you're just going to hover forward.
You see traffic's now 1 o'clock, mile and a half. Appears to be moving eastbound, 2,800 Cessna. Frequency change approved.
Good day now. Alpha,
Getting a feel a little bit further. There we go. Just keep it going forward. A little bit like a takeoff, but we're not taking off. You know what I mean? When you think about it, you're hovering here. Now the trick is to slow it down to where at one point it doesn't move on you anymore. That's it. Okay.
Inbound.
Tail is clear. Left pedal. Push the left pedal gently. Bit of tailwind, I know, but we go slow. It's going to be okay.
97 Charles Sierra.
And now we're going to go in the opposite direction. So again, a gentle forward motion all the way to the end of the field. See what I mean? If it goes too fast, you bring the cyclic backwards gently. If it goes too slow, you push it forward, and so forth and so on. Very good.
Remember 8420 Foxtrot, executive tower.
Remember, today, don't try to stop it yet. Maybe we will, but for now, just being able to control forward motion, hover over the ground, the direction of travel. I'd accelerate from time to time because the wind is in our tail. So if it's gusting up, of course, it's going to give us an increase in performance. Very good, look at that.
Tower, it's Cirrus 8420.
Ready, tail is clear, pedal.
Now
Now back in the wind is going to make things easy.
8013.
Ooh, look at the stability that you get, huh? And back again?
We can do 13, circle 13.
We're 20 Foxtrot, turn left northeast. And
now I'm going to show you something. We're going to go over to
short final.
Yes, you figured it out. It takes very little motion. We don't want to move things big. But once you know where that center of gravity is, you can move that cyclic stupid, and the aircraft will not move on position. For example, look, we're going to make big motions with it.
Circle for 20 Foxtrot.
It's moving.
As long as you find the center
because
over there.
I know where the center is. So what I'm trying to represent over here also is, look, it's a spiral. We're going to start with a big spiral, and we're going to work it down to a spot. See what I mean? So I'm not saying be aggressive, of course, and all those things. So be aggressive and all those things. But you do have some range, and that's what you're experimenting now, is to find for yourself this center point. Yeah? I'm controlling the safety of the flight as far as not meaning you don't have to look too much. I'm looking at the ground, but don't look at the ground. Look outside. Look at least, I don't know, 25, 50 feet in front of you.
Okay.
Okay, and then if it starts to move, look even further down. Look at the water tower. Oh yeah.
Number 2182.
You look down, the relative motion is accelerated, and chances are it's going to translate in your hand. If you look far, that motion is slow, and your hand will follow that.
Traffic's off to the
very good, let it be, let it be. Let it slide, play with it. Go here, go there, all directions.
20 Foxtrot, roger, runway 13, third line.
See the trick, I mean, the big thing really,
November
with looking outside is that you can see the position of your disc.
Downwind runway 8.
Your goal is to keep it leveled
1 o'clock, 2 miles
with the horizon.
End of 13 climb.
So you don't want to put a big angle of that disc close to the ground, especially.
Right downwind runway,
Ooh, wow.
Thank you.
Sweet spot.
November 0 Lima Romeo, continuing right traffic, start your right crossing.
We're in right crossing now. This one's going to be a full stop, Lima Romeo.
0 Lima Romeo.
Keep on going forward, beautiful. You're on something here, nice.
410 Lima Romeo.
Look outside, don't mind the fence or whatever, I'm here. So all you focus on is getting that sweet spot.
November 7 Charlie Sierra, runway 8, clear line, traffic short flying, runway 13.
97 Charlie Sierra, clear to land runway 8.
Remember 0 Lima Romeo, you're following the Cirrus on a 3-mile final, 900.
Absolutely cool. Very good. No, it's okay. Slide, let it slide. When that happens, you know what I do if I have the room, of course. For example, I let it slide. I just let the wind catch it. Eventually it's going to slow down by itself. Again, what I want to see is a flat horizon.
No joy on that traffic yet.
That's all. So if you don't want to put controls, you're going to have to just go with the flow.
1 o'clock in a mile, same altitude, westbound on the downwind.
Okay, so looking. Oh, we got that traffic.
This is good stuff.
November 20 Foxtrot, contact ground.
To ground, 20 Foxtrot, thanks.
Beautiful. Executive Tower, helicopter 3112 Tango for an air taxi from the observation deck to shelter west, please.
Insight, Lima Romeo.
Number 0 Lima Romeo, number 2 runway 8, cleared line.
Land, number 2, runway 8, 410 Lima Romeo.
Ready? Off pedal.
The other calling in executive tower second.
It was helicopter 3112 Tango. Observation deck for an air taxi over to shelter west, please.
Helicopter 12 Tango, air taxi to shelter west, approved. Remain south of taxiway, Echo.
Wilco, 12 Tango.
November 0 Lima Romeo, follow the...
Air taxi means that you can go up to 100 feet. Their speed's up to 60 knots, but no more.
For the Cessna, I've got the Cirrus in sight.
Safe time that way around an airport.
Correction, that was for a 2182
An approach.
You following traffic, turning to right base, runway 8, clear to line number 2.
Number 2, clear to land.
It's a bit of a steep approach. Let's practice it. You see the spot I'm going to, by the way, is that where we took off from over there. I'm going to try to hold that spot steady in the windscreen.
7 to the northwest.
With my collective, if it goes high, I go up with the collective. If it goes low, I go low with the collective. There we go.
November 408 Papa Golf, executive tower, second.
Look far outside, look at the control tower. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, yeah, baby, you know where it is. It's going to happen very quickly.
Approach runway 13, report a 3-mile final.
Right pedal, press a little bit of right.
Clear 13, report 3-mile final.
Going to go towards our pad.
7 Charlie Sierra, ground point 75.
Good then.
November 8 Papa Golf, traffic 12 o'clock, mile and a half, orbiting at 600, Sheriff's helicopter.
Got him on the TCAS, we're looking at.
Don't think about those signs and all that good stuff too much other than knowing where they are so we don't smack in them. Right here.
Regency 188.
We're going to present ourselves in front of it.
88 executive tower, runway 8.
We're going to take care of all little motions here instead of over there. And once the aircraft is nice and stable, we just go forward slowly. In it.
FXC Tower, helicopter 116 Roman Sierra.
Good enough.